Hello and welcome again to another Atypical Philosopher video. Today I'm going to talk to you about how the Bible shows that God is not omniscient. I've just finished writing a book on the triadic God, the omni God, omniscient, omnipotent, omnibenevolent, all-knowing, all-powerful, all-loving, and how that God doesn't make any sense at all. And I'm really stoked to have finished that book, and in fact it looks like Dan Barker's going to write a foreword to it, so really looking forward to that. Today I'm going to concentrate on the flood story, one that I've done a couple of videos on recently because I think it really invalidates God's supposed omniscience. So let's give you a bit of context of the flood story. Of course, it never happened. It's obviously mythological, but particularly in America, you get this problem where so many people believe such stories to be literally true. And I know this is going back to a 2003 poll, so this is 18 years out of date. Things will have changed a little bit since then, but there's a general belief here. Here it was still the majority. I don't know if it still is, but it'd be interesting to find out. But here's a quote from an ABC poll report that found overall 64% believe the story of Moses parting the Red Sea is, quote, literally true, meaning it happened that way word for word, close quote. About as many say the same about creation, 61%, and Noah and the flood, 60%. About 3 in 10 say instead that each of these is, quote, meant as a lesson but not to be taken literally, close quote. So there is a wide variation in the number of literal readers across groups, but much of it is driven by two factors: religious belief and frequency of practice. That's really interesting. So most people believe that Noah's flood is literally true, and those who don't still think it is meaningfully true. There's a true meaning that comes out of it. I'm going to present the fact that the story at all doesn't make any sense and shows that God is not omniscient. And so I don't think you can even, I think the 3 in 10 people and the 60% people are just, it's just wrong. And in fact, the only people that are right are the people who believe it never happened or that God does not exist. Anyway, let's get on to what Genesis 6 says. Genesis 6, 5-8, and quote the excerpt from the Bible. Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of mankind was great on the earth. I'm going to repeat that. Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of mankind was great on the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of their hearts was only evil continually. So the Lord was sorry that he had made mankind on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. Then the Lord said, I will wipe out mankind, whom I have created from the face of the land, mankind and animals as well, and crawling things and the birds of the sky, for I am sorry that I ever made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. Why this is an interesting story is it's all about then I realised this, because God's full omniscience, if we understand omniscience to include divine foreknowledge, God has full knowledge of all future events on this world or universe that he's created, but also any other hypothetical universes that he might not create. This knowledge is called counterfactual knowledge. He has knowledge of the counterfactuals. If this happened, then this would happen. So if God created this other universe, then he would know all the future events in that universe. He could simulate it in his mind, like some kind of computer simulation. In the same way, this universe that he has created, supposedly, he knows all future events. They're simulated. He knows nothing will be a surprise. He's not reactive at all because he's created it in order that all these things come to pass. He knows in advance before creating and then creates. So any kind of lack of knowledge is just completely inexplicable. And we understand that this is a story of God killing all of humanity bar 8 and all of the animal kingdom bar 2 or 7 of each kind, depending on which iteration of the Genesis story you read. So there's a lot of death going on here. And why? Because God then realized how wicked humanity had become. He either never knew this before or he's really, really forgetful, and that's a problem. So in fact, the whole nature of the story is one big invalidation of his omni characteristics. He realizes that he has messed up his creation in that he's designed and created humans, all these wicked things that he's made. He then realizes their wickedness and destroys them all and starts over, sort of throwing everything off the table and starting again, all the while promising never to send such floods and destruction again. And it's a very human, anthropomorphic God working in very human, non-omniscient ways. But the problem is that this is a scenario in which God comes to realize the wickedness of the humans only down the line after creating. Whereas, of course, you'd know that fully in advance. There is no understanding of this story with God's omni characteristics. You can't make sense of the story. It's just a real one big invalidation of those omni characteristics of the triadic God. And I can't see it in any other way. A truly omnibenevolent and omniscient God would not have knowingly designed and created something for the main components, the humans here, to go wrong right at the start and then have to destroy them all to start again. You know, all those healthy dollops of pain and suffering that will be involved. I mean, it's incompetence at best, malevolence at worst. Definitely not omniscience and definitely not omnibenevolence. And it's not the only story that shows that God doesn't have omniscience. You know, the Tower of Babel, there's plenty of stories in the Old Testament, in the Hebrew Bible, that show that God is not omniscient. And this is just one example. And I think a really flawed story, not only morally, but in the way that God is shown as an anthropomorphic, reactive God, and not a God that would have full knowledge of everything that would come to pass and design and create it in that way and act in the way he supposedly did. The Noah's flood story makes no sense. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. It's almost at 1,000 subscribers, so come on. And please like the video and all that and share it if you enjoy it. Anyway, take care. Question everything.